We felt like our lives were in our own hands. Make a wrong turn, and you're on a double black diamond. It felt like every trail was a steep chute or littered with tree lines. How the hell is anyone supposed to ride in that? Not fun. Imagine being the community or social media manager of a ski resort who logs into their channels in the morning and sees these reviews. What do you do? Do you hide it from your Google reviews? Do you get angry at the trail managers? Do you respond to the review with an apology and offer up a complimentary meal coupon at the restaurant? Do you take an Advil and call in sick? Well, if you're Snowbird, you do none of these things. You take those reviews, anonymize the names, and splash it across the centerfold of magazines along with the one-star reviews that Greg from Los Angeles gave your slopes and runs, thereby cementing your positioning in USP very strongly as being the most thrilling, intense, and unapologetically hardcore ski slopes with a summit of 11,000 feet. A ski resort that, respectfully, may not be for everyone. And Snowbird owns that. In a world full of bland or at best chuckle-inducing brand communications by ski resorts that turn out to be more boring than plain vanilla, Snowbird's exclusionary positioning is a breath of fresh air, much like their slopes. While every ski resort is targeting the full experience audiences, families and beginners, by highlighting the theme park-like features around the skiing, Snowbird knows what its loyalists want and serves it up for them in a platter. Let's take a closer look at the one-star campaign that took Snowbird from a safe family brand positioning to the daredevil's backyard that it is today. This is an awesome breakdown of the notorious one-star ad campaign by Snowbird. This is the awesome channel where we break down the world's most remarkable and meaningful brand campaigns and what makes them so great. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Nestled in the Little Cottonwood Canyon, a mere 45-minute drive away from downtown Salt Lake City, is Snowbird, arguably one of the world's premier skiing destinations. The bird, as devotees call it, spans more than 2,500 acres of mountain peaks, bowls, and groomed runs. Although it is a year-round resort with summer activities and some mountain biking, Snowbird is best known for its record-breaking snowfall, amounting to 500 inches annually, all of which is a world-renowned low-density, dry Utah powder, making it the perfect destination for hardcore ski enthusiasts. In the 70s, they rode the ski boom, helping transform a wealthy pastime into a mainstream sport. From its origins as a luxury pursuit for the elite, skiing evolved into a beloved American activity, shaped by imported alpine traditions and expanded accessibility after World War II. Today, skiing as an industry grows at a rate of 3.7% year on year, reaching a combined estimated revenue of $4.6 billion in 2023. We can thank advertising for this. Alpine skiing imagery was used to sell everything, from cars to skincare products to even Italian fascism. The 1930s to the 1980s saw the intermingling of skiing and mass culture, resulting in the creation and proliferation of ski movies, TV shows, and cultural artifacts that immortalized these small towns that were practically owned and operated by resort companies. While the rise of these imageries and stories flooded the mainstream in very interesting and remarkable ways, the actual official advertisements and campaigns that were run by these resorts were fairly safe, repetitive, and boring. Most of these focused on the generic and one-size-fits-all formula. Ads played the positioning by attribute card. Look at all this amazing snow we get every year. Look at all these new lodges we've built for you and your family. Look at all these other activities like bars and pubs and spas that we have built for you, the skier, and your family. Oh, and here's a lift ticket discount for you if you book your vacation at our official resort to stay at with your family. This is a trend that continues to this day. Don't believe me? Here, let me break some down for you. Let's see if you can spot a theme. Ski Utah. Guy picks up his skis at the airport and is excited to hit the slopes. Upbeat music crooning, "You're all I wanna do." Montage shots, cool whips, stunts, and sprinkling powder as if saying, "This is cool. This is cool, right? You wanna do this, right? Book your vacation with us now." Stein Erikson. Romantic, cozy vibes. Day or stay in the life of a holiday skier at the resort. Nice, cozy dinners by the fireside, ripping some tame slopes by the day. Very luxe, very sexy. Montage shots, montage shots, montage shots of slow-mo powder in the air, uppity music. Book your stay with us today. Go now. Big White Resort. Montage shots with a voiceover of a young girl who's narrating the perfect day of skiing with her family. Fun activities, family-oriented vibe, really selling the ice theme park vibe, which is frankly what most families would like to go for anyway. Call to action? You guessed it. Book your vacation with us today. Icon Pass. Just like the Big White Resort, but in my opinion, written much better. Focuses on the family angle, but highlights the fact that young kids of today will outgrow the parents, thereby striking a chord. Inviting parents, the target audience, to cherish these moments with the Icon Pass at one of our many resorts. Voiceovers and montage again. Book your vacation now. See a theme? Family focused, safe, nice, highlighting the natural beauty. Come spend the day with your kids. Yay! It takes a safe approach, literally and figuratively. It could work for anyone with a warm body and a beating heart. And that's what the category norm has become. For most ski resorts, this model worked. Not because this was unique in any way, it was the opposite, but because rising tides floated all boats, which meant running a successful ski business boiled down to efficiency, not unique campaigns. Which meant that you subsidized your lift operating services by building a whole host of theme park-like activities and amenities around skiing and snowboarding that made it easy for hardcore powderheads to do what they love while being accompanied by their families who may not be into it as much. Vertically integrate, offer day and season passes, and hope that you have some money left over to build new amenities and fancier lodges to get the higher dollar customers flying in from the nearby cities the next year. You won by trying to please everyone. Every ski resort wants the high income earners, and the way to get them were more amenities and luxury, which unfortunately meant more expensive passes. This model was turned on its head by the likes of Whale and Altera that applied economies of scale to subsidize their passes while providing much higher flexibility and value. Since both of them owned 35 plus resorts around the world, they could provide that higher value with their individual passes. Season pass holders now enjoyed flexibility, variety, and a higher value for their money while helping hedge the risk for owner companies by helping offset localized losses. If the snowfall in one of their 35 resorts didn't turn out the way they expected, they could easily rely on the rest of their resorts to earn enough money to offset that loss. In the face of these giant MNC-owned ski resorts that seem to have incredibly vast advertising dollars and efficiencies of scale, how does one stand out? You do that by focusing on talking about a newer universal truth and repositioning yourself, being bold when others are fearful. But Snowbird's comms were not always like this. They started like all other ski resorts. The 1978 commercial had montage shots of glamorous people ripping the dry Utah powder, posting of family discounts, making it very much the target audience of their brand campaigns. Later ads in 1984 showcase skiers of all ages entering the tram and highlighting the mountain, taking a let the snow do the talking approach, showcasing amenities, activities, and convenient skiing with a brand new luxurious resort. We slowly make our way to 2007 when they started their YouTube channel. This channel, and specifically one video titled Snowbird Season Pass Commercial, started to mark an organic shift away from this positioning by attribute, conformist communication that was rampant in the industry. This video shows an older skier on the slopes of Snowbird, surrounded by a winter wonderland of snow that appears to reach his waist. He then asks the viewer what month they think it is. Starting with January, he rules out all the preceding months until revealing that it is in fact May. While espousing the incredible value of the Snowbird Season Pass, it also unknowingly started the push by Snowbird to attract more advanced skiers through its marketing strategies, which brings us to 2017. By now, both Snowbird and the hundreds of family-oriented or novice customers had become aware of the fact that the marketing and reality of Snowbird's terrain were not complementary. In fact, most beginners and families would be jarred by the experience, leading to many complaints and negative reviews. Snowbird knew it had to do something. Enter Struck, a Utah-based creative agency. Scott Sorensen, Struck's creative director, started working with Dave Amirault, former head of marketing at Snowbird, and questioned why they targeted families throughout all their old campaigns. In a bid to reach as big an audience as they can, their current communications, Scott realized, did not appeal to the core values of the ideal Snowbird audience, which really were adventurous black diamond skiers. This realization would turn out to be a positioning masterstroke on the part of Struck and Snowbird. The magic formula is that a good positioning has to lie in the overlap of the following elements: target market needs, unique salient points, and perception relative to competitors. Snowbird co-opted this framework to perfection by refocusing their primary target audience from families to advanced double black diamond powderheads. A small niche, admittedly, but one that is rabidly passionate and loyal. Leaning into their negative experience and claiming it as a USP, a feature, not a bug, and doubling down on this exclusionary campaign messaging while the rest of their category competitors continued on with their at-scale bland campaigning. The birth of this idea was interesting as well. To understand the idea, let's try to deconstruct and guess what the creative brief could have been like. Every creative brief has the following key components: the goal, the problem, the insight, and the solution. Applying this to Snowbird, we can see that the goal was to help position Snowbird to be the destination of choice for hardcore skiers. The problem was that Snowbird was weighed down by its legacy marketing efforts, which still espoused itself as a family-friendly resort, pigeonholing it into a crowded positioning. The insight here was that one skier's nightmare is another's ideal terrain, leading to the solution to be a campaign that subtly reclaimed the one-star reviews left by safe, casual crowds and repurposed them to reach out and inspire the hardcore skiers. While the campaign idea as a solution is what everyone has seen, appreciated, and enjoyed, I personally believe that in this particular example, it is the insight that was the king. The insight building was so good that it sat within the campaign idea and breathed new life into it. An insight in advertising is an unspoken human truth that draws people into your brand. I like Mark Pollard's definition of insights being a link between different topics that ultimately come together, catalyzing brand and behavior change. In this context, the insight began by shedding light on the problem. The barrier blocking people from choosing Snowbird is its tough terrain. And a new unspoken truth is revealed: that Snowbird was targeting the wrong people in their campaigns this whole time. Both statements coexisted in isolation for the longest time, until the insight unified them to make something that is deeply true and hadn't been said like that before. This is exactly what Amirault and the Struck team did with the one-star campaign. The key insight here meant that Snowbird did not have a bad product, but that they were probably selling the right product to the wrong type of customer, leading it to be articulated as one skier's nightmare is another's ideal terrain. In fact, the inspiration for this insight came from a sign for a sandwich shop that invited its customers to come and try the world's worst sandwich according to that one guy on Yelp. Fun fact, Snowbird and the sandwich shop were not the only businesses to lean into this sort of a strategy. Gossip Girl ran a similar campaign. Before season 2 aired, they took out massive billboards around the Upper East Side with actual agitated comments from concerned teenagers' parents about the type of racy content featured in the pilot season, overlaid with the raunchy imagery of Blair and Serena in order to catch eyeballs and promote the show to teenagers. Armed with this insight, the Snowbird team went on to turn negative reviews by novice, beginner skiers into positive ones for their audience by applying this idea from the sandwich shop to the Snowbird resort. They plastered beautiful photos of advanced skiers carving down the rugged terrain, with negative reviews deeming the terrain too advanced and commenting that there were no easy trails from different guests. With this campaign, Snowbird clearly solidified its positioning in the eyes of the public. While playing to its most loyal target base, it also set the right kind of expectations with everyone. With these campaigns, it not only attracted the right crowd, it also let everyone know what to expect when they roll up to their slopes. Instead of taking the route of a customer is always right, they hilariously challenged the customers by questioning their skiing skills. The rest, as they say, is campaigning history. This ad caught the attention of Reddit, and from there, it went quickly viral, winning several awards and featured on popular marketing accounts. In the time period when the campaign came out, it resulted in increased searches for Snowbird on Google. While validated data about the sustained campaign success is limited, we can see that compared to other snow sports resorts in the USA with an average revenue of $10 to $30 million a year, the bird earned a whopping $240 million in 2023 alone. In a world where most brands are so afraid of claiming and deepening their positioning in a niche by fear of letting go of the mass market, Snowbird's one-star campaign is a lesson in understanding who you speak to and believing in your product deeply enough. Unless you are big enough to be everything for everyone, you have to know and own what you're good at. And that may not always be evident. With this campaign, Snowbird stood out from a really crowded category because it prided itself on its incredibly difficult runs like gad chutes and elevator shaft that, frankly, take a different breed to enjoy. While the resort later on softened its hardline approach after the campaign launched and still has beginner trails and amenities, it chooses to build its brand on its tough, rugged terrains. You can get blue and green runs in your neighborhood hills, but the real advanced, adrenaline pumping runs are hard to find. Runs that turn into stories that you share with your friends when you get back from your vacation. Stories that leave you and your listeners breathless. That's the magic and thrill of Snowbird. And the one-star campaign put it on display for the whole world to see. It's safe to say that the one-star campaign gets 5 stars in my book.